Are you an actor and you want to see if there are any Black Friday deals for you? Now you're going to want to make sure you save this video because sometimes deals pop up on Black Friday, but there's also Cyber Monday and deals will roll out throughout the holiday season. So I make sure I put all the links below in the description so that way if you see something you like, click on that. You'll head on over. They are affiliate links. It doesn't cost you anything more, but I do make a small commission if you decide to buy something. Okay, so let's get into it. The first one we have here is, I think, something that's going to be really helpful. Let me pause. I forgot to load up my my notes over here so I can make sure I hit everything I wanted to. My apologies. I was going to do this live, but I was having problems with my live streaming software, so I have to do it. I'm recording it and getting it up to you guys as soon as possible. Okay, so the very first thing when it comes to being an actor is you want to make sure your lighting is correct. Okay, and one of the best ways you could do that is right here through this Pro Selfie Ring Light. Now, I actually bought this and I took this with me to a tournament because I wanted to be able to record it so I could teach people how to shoot that specific time of tournament because we don't really shoot it here in the United States. And so I use this especially because if I end up getting an audition last minute, I needed a portable light. And so that's why I got this. And I really loved how it telescoped, super helpful. I just make sure that this is compatible for you in terms of like with the remote, that you are able to, that it does, ¿cómo se dice? Sorry guys, my tongue is all gone. That it's compatible with your phone, so that way you can go ahead and use the remote. But I really like something like this, and it looks like they have other options, a little bit more expensive, but this is something you can also try. The next thing, again, still going with light because that's so important. You want to make sure you're lit well. I've seen audition tapes. I've been in Zoom calls where we're doing a table read and the actor is so poorly lit, we can barely see them. It's so bad. You got to make sure people can see you. And that's one of the things too with this softbox, because what it does is on set, they use big lights, but then they use this thing on top of it called a softbox that helps diffuse the light. So that way it's not so harsh. Like right now, if you can see, there's a lot of light coming from me here. I actually had to put something else up because this time of day, the sun is really bright here. And so I even had to lower my lights because it's just way too intense in here. And it's coming off really harsh. But that's the thing about the softbox. It's kind of like going through a sheet and it's helping to diffuse the light so it softens it, which looks better for you. There's 3 different color grades that they have here. And it comes in a box, and they also have a remote so that way you can, control the light from a distance. And right now it looks like it's at $38.66, and it's a true Black Friday deal because it has the little stamp here. That's the other thing too to be mindful of is sometimes on Amazon, because that's where I'm looking right now for the deals, you'll see something and it'll be discounted, but it's not labeled Black Friday. So don't discount if you don't see the red label right away and you're like, oh, it's not on sale. It still might be a good price for that. So be mindful of that. Again, still with lights. So I didn't want to assume, I don't know where you're at in terms of financially, right? And what you can afford. But I also wanted to give you guys some options if you do have more means or you are producing your own content. This is a great option right here, the Amaran 100D, this cob light. Now currently, at least the time that I'm recording this video, it is not on sale. But one of the things I like about this, it's kind of like, because it's at daylight, you don't have to worry about your lighting being wrong. It's just then turning up and down the intensity of it, which is nice for someone like me because I feel that's one area on set, working as part of the crew, I need to work more with, is working with lighting so I can understand, working with a DP, so that way I can understand better how they're lighting and whatnot, because I'm very bad at that. So if you want something, you're just gonna turn on the switch and then just turn up and down the intensity, this is for you. Daylight is usually one of the most flattering lights. Now you're not gonna want just that. This is gonna be really harsh. You're gonna want to get also something like this, the softbox, and this attaches on top of it. That's actually currently what I'm using. I'm using this other one right here, this light, and then this softbox. This currently, although see it says it's not a Black Friday deal, but it is the lowest price in the past 30 days. And this goes on it on the light itself. And again, it helps to soften it. So this is something that you can consider, again, if you have a little bit more money to play with, or you're starting to create your own content. This is also helpful. Another thing with that, if you are buying these types of lights, is you're going to want a heavy duty light stand, because these lights are sizable and you don't want your good equipment, right? This is equipment that you're buying because this is an investment. This is stuff you're going to be using with you for a while. Should not break down on you in like a month. Right? This is not cheap stuff. And so you want to make sure you're using a heavy duty light stand to support the lights. And one of the things I like about this is it has the wheels. So necessary to be able to move stuff around easier. It's called casters. And it also has right here, if you can see it. I didn't like that. There's basically like down here, there's also a lock right there. Hopefully you guys can make that out, but it's really helpful. This is a Black Friday deal, at least right now. It's at $106.99 compared to its normal price. But if you're going to get those other lights, at some point you want to consider a light stand, and it needs to be one that's going to hold its weight, right? If not, if you're going to get another type of light stand, it better not be plastic or like aluminum. You need something strong, because I don't want you to lose your investment, right? Because another thing you'll see like on set is they'll put bean bags on it to help support it. But make sure it's something heavy duty if you don't get something like this. Going along with that, again, if you're investing in your own content, which honestly all actors need to, we need to be making our own content. You can't depend on the AMPTP. You can't depend on the 3 big families of Broadway to choose you to be on your next Broadway show. We can do our own stuff. So with that is this GVM 3-pack light. Is something else that I got. One of the big things that I use is, I actually have it behind me to help give some space between me and the back wall. That's really, for me, it was important because I was just blending in too much, probably also because of my complexion. And so it helps separate you. But the other thing I liked about this is because it had different scene modes. Yeah, where I could also do lightning. And honestly, one of the cheapest ways or cheapest types of productions you can do is not only short films, even if you do a feature, is horror, right? So things that are scary. So I'm like, okay, cool. It has this lightning function. I'm like, that could be good. I could see myself using that on different things I would be producing. So it comes with a 3 kit, which is great. It comes in this box. Well, I don't think you can call it a box. It comes with a case. It has a stands and whatnot. One of the things I did do is buy a diffuser, a smaller diffuser to put on it, kind of like this softbox here, but it's smaller to go on here, although this is an LED panel and it's already supposed to diffuse. But this is also something you can use, little accent lights here and there. Again, this is more so if you're investing in yourself and creating your own content. Things you can buy like along the way. Along with that, one of the things that's really important when you're doing your self-tapes or even in class is you need to have a blank wall behind you. Now that's not always possible depending on where you live. So one of the things that you can do is get this, and that's why I love this right now, is that this is on sale, this green screen backdrop kit, because what you would do is you're not going to use the green screen. Instead, you're going to go out and use or go buy a gray sheet or a blue sheet, something that's complementary to your skin tone, and you're going to put that there. Because if you don't have a blank wall, this is how you can make it so you have a blank wall so you can record yourself. Again, for your self-tape auditions or for classes or your Zoom callbacks. This is really important. Even in your acting Zoom classes, there will be teachers say like, oh, I can see this. Like this plant cannot be here during my class. I have to move this. And so things like that you want to be mindful of. So this will give you a nice clean backdrop, especially when you don't have that option. And because it's portable, that means you can move it to maybe not your bedroom, but the living room or wherever it is that you happen to have the space to be able to record your audition or take your class. So I think this is a really great idea for those of us who do not have a dedicated wall for self-tapes in class. Okay, next, audio. Audio is so important, and I absolutely love this. I have this. One of the things I love about this Hollyland Lark M2 wireless microphone is that it's compatible right here. You can see it with, you can plug it into your iPhone. You can plug it into Androids. It also has this right here, which allows you to use it for, to connect to like your DSLR cameras. These are the two wireless mics. Let me move this. Uy, no quiere. I could probably just show you mine. No. Okay. So these wireless mics are really great. And especially like for us females, one of the things you can do is it has a small backing. You know what? I'm just going to pause real quick and I'm just going to go get it to show you guys. Okay, I am back. Thank you for waiting. Although I should have deleted that part out, hopefully. Okay, so it comes in this nice little pouch, which is great. Okay, and it has like a little divider. There's different things. So one of the things that comes is this. Right, is this, it comes in this little case. And you can charge it back here. This is where your, obviously a cable goes in to charge it. And you open it up, and this is where you have your wireless microphones. Now, this is what I was talking about, what I was trying to talk about. So it actually has this backing that comes off, right? And so then you can put it, you can clip it right here onto your shirt. Okay, but another thing that as females can do is we can actually clip it further down here on our bra or inside, right? And then no one will be able to see it. No one will be able to see it because it's inside. So that's a trick that us females have the ability to do. Again, just put it right here on your bra and no one will be able to see it, but it's going to be picking up that quality audio. And then it also has here the little charging thing for it. The nice thing about this having two microphones is that in case one of them dies out, you have the other. Also, if you ever decide to start doing a podcast, you have two microphones already in here. Let me pull out, I already have it here, might as well pull out the rest of it. And it comes with it. It also comes with these little, I already have one open, like wind socks. Oh, I don't think I've ever opened it. All right, open it for you guys. Because I haven't used these, I don't use these outside. Have I? No, it was like indoors. Oy Dios. Okay, so that way you can put this over your microphone. And it comes with two, so one for each. Here is the charging cable, right? So it's US. I just realized it's this type of connection, and this is the part that goes to the back to charge it. Now this is what allows you to, wait, can you see that? Okay. To plug it into your DSLR camera, okay? Because it's going to connect this part here. It goes into here. And then this other part is going to connect into your DSLR camera. And that's how you can get audio directly into your camera without having to worry about all this. Another nice little feature is, so say you don't want to clip it onto your clothes for whatever reason, you can actually use this. And it's a necklace, right? You can just hang it around you and then you just put it right on here. Okay. Sorry, I'm a mess. I wasn't anticipating like pulling out my stuff and showing you guys, but I have this and I really do love it. And then here are the two little connectors. Okay, so I like to try to keep things in the original plastic. That's why it's still on there. And this is for the older now iPhones. The newer iPhones now work with this. And that's what's nice also about having these available to you is that you then say your phone dies and you have an iPhone, but your friend has an Android. You switch over to the Android and you're like, oh no, I can't work with this. No, you absolutely can because you have the device to be able to switch it and use basically whatever recording medium is available to you. So it's really awesome. There's more that comes in it, but that's everything that has in the little bag. Like it comes with little stickers so that way you can block out like the logo and whatnot or put like smiley faces and such, but that's the main things. Okay, this is a great deal. I did not pay this price. I think I paid like $150 for this maybe a little over a year ago. So this is, yeah, this is really good. This is better than using your AirPods. Please don't ever use your AirPods for an audition or acting class. It sounds horrid, horrid on the other side. And besides, probably, first they need to be able to see you. If they can't see you on their audition tape, they're going like this. They're going to give you at most 3 seconds on your self-tape audition. If they're interested enough, they'll keep watching. And if they aren't, they're going to move on to the next person. So first they got to be able to see you, okay? Next, they have to be able to hear you. I have been on, unfortunately, table reads too, where we could not hear the actor. I was actually the narrator, and because we couldn't hear the actor and everybody kind of didn't know what to do, my theater background, I'm like, okay, I just jumped in. I'm going to be that role until that person's able to fix their audio. And that's what I kept doing. It's really bad. Don't use the AirPods. They could die on you. If you're going to use an audio, a wireless, I would use something like this. This is definitely higher quality than your AirPods. The best would be recorded, right? It has like tethered, there's a line. But, you know, if you use like the Apple ones, that just stands out. A lot of times it's really too distracting from the scene. You can use like a lavalier mic that just clips on here. And that will also work. But if it'll clip, right, it'll just like clip on here, and then the rest is hidden. You're not going to show the string. Please don't do that. I know it's hard. We shouldn't have to do all this stuff for self-tapes, but this is what the industry is nowadays. And if you're creating your own content, this will help you to be able to know better how to mic up actors for when you're doing your own thing. Okay. All right. Another audio options. If you don't want to do something like that, this is another great option. The Shure MV88. This is a video kit. So up here on top, they have the microphone. And then down here is basically where you would put your phone. So in some ways, this is really helpful because it's kind of like all in one. There, this is a great picture. Right, so you'd have it up there. There's the microphone, there's your phone. And then it comes also with the stand, which is great. Sometimes, you know, when you're recording your self-tape auditions, you can sit down or you can get away with sitting down. Not always, sometimes you need to stand just because your energy is different when you're standing versus sitting. One thing you can do, you don't have to have this camera facing towards you. You can have it flipped around so you can see yourself that you're correctly centered. But if you do that, make sure you're recording in the highest caliber quality available to you, right? So if your phone does 4K, do it in 4K. If it's only HD, then do it in HD. Whatever is the best. The minimum requirement right now for SAG-AFTRA is 720p, and that's decent quality. And so you want to make sure you're at least capturing that. Okay. So again, this is another option for audio. Obviously, this is more expensive, but maybe this is something more your style of which you'd want to do. Okay, this is right now, it's not a Black Friday deal, but it is discounted slightly. Okay, this is, again, if you're creating your own content and if you have the means to do it. I didn't want to assume that everybody's on a super budget because I know some of you guys aren't, or you have more funds available to you, or this is an investment, or this is part of your business. This is a great mic. This is the Sennheiser shotgun mic. It's slightly discounted at $950. With this is one where you're going to be, it's closer to like what we will use on set, and you'll see this on also like on indie productions, where it's going to be a mic that's pointing directly at the mouth or in the general direction of the audio that they want to record. Again, this is if you have it. If you don't spend your money on this. You do not need this equipment. Can I tell you, one of the people in my acting class has booked roles in Clint Eastwood projects using their phone and the audio recording from their phone. And they had a light. And I think it was the light in the room. I was there. I was the reader for the person. You do not need fancy equipment. They just need to be able to see you and hear you, and you need to do your job and deliver it like you would for that role. So if you don't have the money, don't spend it on this. But if you do, if you are looking to invest in these types of things, you're creating your own content, you're getting together with others, and you're making your short films and your feature productions, you're going to make your TV series and bundle it together and then pitch it to Amazon or Hulu or whoever, whatever streaming platform you want. Okay, something to consider. But you do not need this. You do not need this if you're a begin entry-level actor. You do not need this if you're just going to use this for recording your auditions. You do not need this. Okay. Another thing. So back to one of the things that makes it easy with recording your self-tapes, a tripod for your cell phone. Right? This is actually a tripod. I did not buy this, but my mentor, I'm part of I don't know if you guys know Omar El Takori. He's my mentor. And so I'm part of his program. And when I came to one of his workshops, this is something he gave to all of us. I have to say, I really love this tripod. What I love most about it is this part right here. That little thing, it makes it so easy to twist because it's like a knob. So easy to open it up and close it. Oh man, I didn't realize how much I love it. This is nice because they're those little clips or flaps or whatever you call it, super easy to open, to adjust it. And then it comes also with this. And this also happened to work really well with my phone. It paired well. I was able to push record and with the Bluetooth it and record from a distance. So this is a great way. Again, it's like $21 right now. Or at least the recording of this video, it's technically listed as a Black Friday deal. You don't need a lot. Because honestly, the other thing you can do with your phone is if you stack up books, just stack it right so that when your phone is at the right level to record yourself. Okay? So you don't have to use a tripod, but it's helpful to get things more stable. So if you have the $21, this is something to consider. Or if you don't, how about $17? I also have this one, Lanzi camera tripod, but it also, you can use that for the phone. And it has what's called, this is the phone holder and cold shoe mount clamp. And so the cold shoe mount clamp, let's see if I can find, this. See how there's like a screw on top? That's for, so you can screw in like a DSLR camera and other types of devices that typically would be attached to a DSLR camera. What I like about this is that it's sturdy. And then also because of the bendy legs, it's helpful in that way. So this is kind of like how the Shure MV88 setup is, where you have your phone, there's a microphone, they have the light off to the side. Kind of funny. I wouldn't suggest the lighting off to the side because that's a mood and you're not going to want that for your self-tape. And then down here is if it had like the camera attached to it. Now, you do want to make sure you're checking the specs because I'm sure there's a certain weight that it can support the camera. But this right now is a great Black Friday deal. Another thing, again, going just with your phone for your self-tapes, for your classes, for your Zoom callbacks. If you have an iPhone, and I'm sure they have some type of equivalent for an Android, is this camera mount. Let's see, there's got to be a picture. This one's better. Okay. See, right there. So what it does is it attaches to your phone and then, attaches to your phone. Let's do it like this. It attaches to your phone so that way it can just sit there and then record you. So you would just have it hanging off of your laptop. It's definitely been helpful. And it's something else to consider, right? Again, if you don't have a book or your books keep slipping or the phone doesn't want to mount quite right, you can use something like this. And again, I'm sorry, I didn't look for an Android equivalent or an iPhone equivalent that isn't MagSafe, but I'm sure there's something like that out there. But this is also like a great option because your phone is enough. Our phones are such great quality, they are enough. You don't have to break the bank. But if you are looking to break your bank, or again, these are investments. If you are looking, you're going to be serious about creating your own content. The Sony Cinema line is one of the best cameras to consider because there's a lot of other DSLR cameras, like, you have your Canons. What is it? The Mark 4 or 5 was like super big years ago. I don't know if it still might be. But the thing about this Cinema line is those other DSLRs, they were designed to take pictures. Yes, they take video, but they weren't designed to run video and record for like over a half hour. What happens to those cameras is they will overheat and shut off at 20 to 30 minutes. So if you're recording your short film or your podcast, whatever it is that you're working on, it'll just suddenly turn off, just like your phone. When it gets too hot, it has to preserve itself. This is specifically designed for filming, so it's not going to shut off on you, which is great, right? It's the Sony FX30 XLR with handle unit. And so this is I have the with the handle unit. This is also what my mentor had suggested. And here is where I will have plugged in the Sennheiser mic. This is where you can have your boom mic here, okay? There's other things that you might want to add to it so that'll be nice and snug in there. If you look further down in the YouTube description, I have the links to the different things like the rubber spacers and whatnot. But if you get this, I would highly encourage you to get it with the XLR unit because it also, unfortunately, the picture doesn't have a side profile picture. Actually, you know what? Let me show you. Hold on. Oh my goodness, I was not anticipating like popping up and showing all these different things. Okay, so this is what the side of the unit looks like. This is where you can have like all the controls and whatnot. This is how you can make sure you're mindful of this. You're turning on and off your audio, right? I'm sure I've never recorded something and then realized afterwards my audio wasn't on. So this is where the Sennheiser microphone would go into. It has this nice little clip so that way it can go in. It's still going to be a little bit too big, too small, the Sennheiser mic. So that's why you need those rubber spacers to help out with that, to fill in the gaps. It's nice and snug. But this is what I wanted to show you. The side. Okay. See, it actually has it so that you can plug in two XLR audios. So if you're doing a podcast, you can have the inputs go directly into here, have it record directly into your Sony camera. So you don't have to worry about trying to mix it later on into same audio. So that's definitely helpful. Okay, I'll just leave this here. My pile is now growing. Again, you do not have to get this. You do not need this for just your self-tape audition, for just your acting class, for just your callbacks, okay? Only if you're creating your own content, whether it's to educate others on maybe your favorite craft is, knitting, or you truly want to start doing your own short films, or own mini series or whatnot. This is something to consider. But let me tell you, you can do that other stuff with your cell phone. With your cell phone. It's completely possible. But if you're looking and you want to upgrade, you want something more like this, looks a little bit more professional, then this is an option for you. But again, the best camera is going to be the one that you're actually going to use. And if this is too complicated for you, don't use this. Use your cell phone. Your smartphone is amazing. Unless it's like a iPhone 7, then you probably need to upgrade, borrow someone else's. I'm sure you can find a newer, older iPhone on eBay and just use it to record stuff, right? You just want to make sure it has a high quality. All right, let's move on to the next one. So if you want that blurry background, right, where this is more like when I brought something, if I showed you something, right, I go like this, where this comes in focus and then the background becomes more blurry. For that blurry background look, excuse me, you're going to want to get this Sigma 16 lens. Right now it's slightly discounted at 5%, not a Black Friday deal. Probably not something you would want to consider right now. Keep an eye on it though. On Cyber Monday it might be discounted, or maybe throughout the year. And again, if this isn't something for you right now, this is something to work towards the future. Like maybe this will be your next investment, and not the FX30, but eventually the FX30 with XLR unit. Okay, next one. Okay, the Elgato prompter. I love this and I hate this. It has been helpful when I've had auditions and I wasn't able to memorize everything in time, and I'm like, there are rules in place in terms of how quickly you have to get back in audition, or how much time they give you to do the audition, but sometimes you have life going on at the same time and you don't have the time to memorize like that. And there is the expectation that you're off book. Like, let's be honest, there is. Now, some casting directors are okay with you still holding the script in your hand. Like G. Charles Wright will say, like, no, hold your script in your hand. This is an audition. But there's also some places that aren't, and they want you to look like you're fully off book. So if you haven't been exercising your memorizing muscle because you haven't been going to class, or maybe you haven't been memorizing even when you do go to class, this is a way to kind of help with that. I will say it can be a little glitchy with Macs. I have a Mac and it's been glitchy with me. I've found other people have had similar challenges, but either way though, as a whole, I really do love this. I actually want to get the XL Elgato prompter, but it doesn't look like it's available yet on Amazon. And it's also a great, again, not necessary. Okay. This is more like fun tools, toys, things to look for in the future. As you're going forward, this will be a way to practice working with a prompter, because that is a difference of a skill set, because you need to look at the camera and there's words going across, but it can't look like you're reading it, right? Because like right now you should be able to see my eyes going back and forth, and that looks really, really weird. Excuse me. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So this is definitely something to consider. There's also even like a foot pedal that they have, so that way you can control the speed of the words coming up. There's even a whole program in there so you can put the words on the screen instead of a PDF. If you do pull up a PDF, just realize it's going to pop out white because it's reflecting from what the screen is. So if you can change the PDF where the back of the page is black and the text is white, that would be best. But that's not always, you're not always able to do that, even with the disability function in like Adobe. I've tried. Sometimes for some scripts it works, for others it won't. So this may or may not be something that's good for you right now, but there's something to consider. It is currently right now a Black Friday deal. Black Friday deal. All right, moving along. Foundation. With the lights, you do want to put some type of makeup because the lights can be harsh and take away. And just to help with evenness, again, like I'm wearing makeup right now. I'm not extra overly done. You shouldn't look extra overly done unless the part calls for it. And that's a very few subset of women who are going to get parts like that. The rest of us should look like we have basically little to no makeup on. Men, unless you're being called in to do drag, which honestly, they shouldn't be asking you to do your full drag makeup unless they're willing to pay you for that for your self-tape, because that takes a lot of time, in my opinion. Men, you should look like you have basically no makeup on. Okay, still helpful. This right now, it looks like there is some available, but that looks like they also have another version. So click on that. Maybe it's something that works for you. Maybe it's not. Looks like they might only have these shades available. This is not obviously the shade that I was using or I'm using. Nude sticks. So this is something that I've switched to recently. After an audition this past summer, I needed a different type of foundation. And this has been really great. I also use it because what I like about it is it still shows like my imperfections. It's not like I'm not a blank or like a clean face. That I don't think that it's not that right. I still look like me. But I've definitely gotten compliments or people saying like, oh, your skin looks really dewy and natural. Well, they don't say natural. It looks really dewy. What is it that I'm doing? And I really think it's this. So this is definitely great. And especially that's 50% off. Again, this doesn't say Black Friday deal, but this is great because I legit paid at least $32 for it at the store. And they have a whole bunch of different shades. I will say this to be mindful. Excuse me. One of the things I have to be mindful of is that my face, now I don't know if it's because I do archery and so I wear a hat and so it's covering my face, or because I also wear sunscreen, or my face cream has SPF 30 sunscreen on it. My face is lighter than my neck. So one of the things that I've had to do, because when I get a foundation that matches my face, it really whitens me. It looks funny. It looks funny because this is whiter than this, and it's like, no. So I would say for camera, even in life, makeup artists say to have the foundation blend into like your neck or what's showing, right? So that's something to be mindful of. I played with a few different foundations until I got to this one. I feel like it's pretty close to at least the color that's on my neck. And so it looks more seamless versus this is white and this is different color. But even still, I mean, look at my arms. Look at how different color they are. I'm me. Many colors. But this is a great deal. So if you're thinking about like, oh, maybe this is something I consider, now would be the time to try this out and see how this works. Okay. Just to get a little bit of lip color. This is Bobbi Brown. It's 30% off. Not listed as a Black Friday deal, but this is a great brand. I barely dab it on just to give myself a little bit of color. I just need a hint of color. And they have a bunch of different shades here available to you. Let's see what else. Thrive. Oh, this is listed as a Black Friday deal. I really love Thrive. I got this as a sample from my niece a few years ago. She didn't want to try it, so I was like, okay. And I was like, this is amazing. I do love that I feel like it gets every single lash. I love that it's not like super thick and clumpy. I don't feel like I have spider eyelashes. It will clump up as it gets older. So, you know, you make sure you, like with all makeup, you need to use new ones. But this is a currently Black Friday deal at $25.60. Okay, another thing I have on here is part of like health and well-being. I love soft lips. I have been using soft lips since I was in 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, junior high. One of the things I love about this, it has SPF 20. So it's also protecting your lips, right? Because we put on face cream, but the face cream we don't put on our lips. So our lips aren't being protected. This is a really great lip balm because I feel like it's not like other lip balms or some of the earlier ones where they just kind of like sit on your lips and it doesn't really absorb into it. This absorbs into it. The other thing too is it's helpful for other things. Like if you're getting sick and you start getting raw right here on the side of your nose from blowing your nose too much, if you put that on there, it'll help it from not getting raw and also to heal faster. So it's just different things like that that I absolutely love about soft lips. So I'm just putting it on here. It's not on sale right now, but check it out because it might be maybe on Cyber Monday or throughout this holiday season or throughout the year. Again, it's something that's really important, I think, to consider. So one of the things that gives away your age is your face, your neck, and your hands. You need to moisturize. So you need to drink plenty of water. But in addition to that is putting on moisturizing cream. I've also found this really helpful because I am light skinned. But if I catch it in time when I get a burn, this will help for me to retain more color longer, to not peel as quickly, or if at all. So this is something that I will use to put on everyday use, but especially if I have accidentally become roasted. All right. Another thing, if you guys are looking for omega-3s, but you also deal with, I call floaties. I've dealt with floaties my whole life. I don't have a lot, but every once in a while, you know, I see something floating around. This has really helped, and it's not a Black Friday deal, but it is, there's a 15% off coupon. Since taking this, I have almost zero to no floaties. It's been amazing. I didn't think that was possible. I stumbled across this brand because of another creator that I know that was part of another program that I was with. I felt like he was someone who's a good person who knows what he's talking about. He's not trying to sell me something, but actually trying to help me, you know, because not all content creators are like that. And so he had made a review on this. And so I felt like, okay, this is an omega, then I want to try. So that's how I came across this, and it's absolutely been helpful. So I would highly encourage you, if you have floaties or dry eyes. I don't know that I have dry eyes, but it's possible, I suppose. This will I would encourage you to try this and see what happens. I mean, what happened to me may not happen for you, but it absolutely helped where they were almost completely gone, and I was amazed. Again, I didn't have them all the time, but at some point I noticed, I'm like, wait, I don't have any. It was amazing. Okay. Last but not least, this business is challenging. You need to be working on your mindset, and part of that is breaking beliefs. Okay. There's a whole bunch of books that I suggest, but this, I would have to say, if I had to tell you to pick one, it would be this, The War of Art. This book is going to be the swift kick and the expletive that you need. It's going to be encouraging. It's going to help you push forward. Get this book. It's a little book. It's not super, I said little book. Like that. That's not helpful. That's not encouraging. It's like a little book like this, and it's not super thick either. It's not like dictionary sized font. Sorry. But it's definitely going to be helpful to break through the barriers, the mental barriers that we all struggle with in this industry. You need that encouragement. You need that push forward. If you are looking to keep going in the ways that you know that you can, you absolutely need to read this. All right, make sure again, you guys save this video. Consider hitting like if this video is helpful for you. Consider subscribing, and I have other content on here. If there's anything else you would like me to talk about or to see if there's a deal on, let me know in the comments. All right, I hope you guys had a great day, and make sure you're out there creating your own content.